This real life drama will leave you speechless, although it won't for some of you because these are your stories and we're gonna wanna hear from you. If you wanna submit a story, the link is down below. The form is right there to fill out. It is linked in every single video. You're welcome. First up, you want to be left anonymous. Brace yourself because this crazy ex story is going to make you thank your ex for being a good person. I will not be thanking my ex, but
not today, not today.
my crazy stalker ex-girlfriend tried to kidnap me after I broke up with her, and it was not pretty. Yeah. Remember before in the other video when we're in the car, we're driving down the road, and then we do a hard right onto Creepy Lane? Yeah, we're back on the road, y'all. We are back on Creepy Lane. I'll provide fake names for safety concerns. This all happened back in the 90s, but I remember it like it was yesterday. Let's just say, thankfully, social media wasn't around back then because some of the things I did definitely would have had drastic consequences had there been cell phones everywhere. I, 66 male, was in my early 30s at the time and was in a really bad relationship with my then girlfriend, Helen. FYI, I never really loved Helen because she wasn't exactly my type. First of all, she was obsessed with me. She had the tendency to ask if I were talking to any girls and that if she could be with me wherever I went. On top of that, she was really weird. She was a goth girl, so she loved heavy metal music and would always dress the part. This was a major turnoff for me because I'm not really attracted to that style, let alone her obsession with me. So why did you date her? She even showed me a shrine that she had hidden in her closet, and she kissed a picture of me with her tongue. We could have left then. That would have been enough for me. Would have been enough for me. I'm sure you're wondering, oh, thank you for addressing this. I'm sure you're wondering why I didn't end things so quickly. Yes, I am wondering. It wasn't easy because my parents were the ones who encouraged me to go out with Helen because she was the daughter of one of my mom's friends and suggested that we go out. After spending some time getting to know each other, we did date for a while, but as you can expect, I discovered who Helen was and I was not interested. Keep in mind, goth girls had a bad reputation and Helen was no stranger to being bad. She always wore those long chains around her pants, and whenever we were out in public, she would purposely shout at any other girls nearby, declaring that I was her property. I told her that she didn't need to be like that, but she always gave me the death stare and told me to know my place. I was legit terrified of her. As time passed, Helen became more and more manipulative. She always dictated who I hung out with and that I wasn't allowed to go anywhere without her knowing. One time, she didn't let me go to my friend's birthday party because she thought I would cheat on her. The last straw was when my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer. No. I'm so sorry. My dad was the person I looked up to and admired the most. I told him about what was going on with Helen, but I didn't want to bring all the drama onto him since he was already dealing with a deadly disease. He started undergoing chemotherapy 3 times a week, and whenever I told Helen I was going to go be with him, she told me I couldn't go unless she came too. I tried to tell her that my father needs me and that she needed to stay out of this, but that just made her mad. She got right in my face, and even though I forgot exactly what she said, it was somewhere along the lines like, let me be clear here. I'm your girlfriend. I'm the most important person. And as long as you and I are together, you will prioritize us above everything else. That was the last straw because I wasn't going to tolerate this BS anymore. I told Helen that my father's health was more important, and if that meant breaking up, so be it. Oh boy, did this set off something in her. Helen then smacked me very hard across the face and I fell over. Not okay. I remember her whispering into my ear, next time, it'll be worse. Cuckoo bonkers. After Helen left our apartment for some time, I knew I needed to get out of this relationship quickly. Keep in mind, there was no cell phones or social media, so I had to use the old dial-up phone to contact someone. The problem was that Helen kept the phone next to our bed and she only let me use it when I needed to. Since she wasn't there, I figured I had time to call the police. I heard the door close and I heard Helen scream, "Get over here now." I didn't even hesitate. I was so scared that I forgot to even hang up the phone, so it just sat there while the police answered, but got nothing from me. Keep that in mind for later. When I went to the living room, Helen had a look on her face again that I knew she had more drama to spew. Are you ready to apologize for not prioritizing me and then make it up to me? At this point, I was fuming. With lots of bravery, I told her no, and that we were over. She didn't own me, and I wasn't going to put up with this anymore. I made my way back to the bedroom where I started packing up my stuff to leave. However, Helen shut the door, locked it, and stood in front of it. Where do you think you're going? I told her I was leaving, and she couldn't stop me. This is where things began to get physical when Helen grabbed my backpack and we started wrestling for it. Stay away from me, I screamed at her as I made my way to the door. Since she locked the door, I had to use all my strengths in my legs to kick the door multiple times before I broke it off the hinges to escape. I got on my bike with my backpack on my back and I rode down the street as fast as I could. But not for long did I hear police sirens coming down the street. He told me to stay where I was as he was driving to Helen's apartment. I didn't stay. I just kept riding until I got to my parents' house. I immediately hugged my mom and I told her what had just happened. She hugged me when she tried to call the police. I told her not to because I didn't want Helen discovering where I was. She didn't know where my parents lived and I didn't want her to know. I told my mom that if the police or if anybody came around asking where I was, to tell them that I just went out to visit some friends. I laid low for the next couple of days. I spent time helping take care of my dad, but unfortunately, no, he passed away a year later. I'm so sorry. It was very sad and heartbreaking because I had to go through losing my father after what I had to go through with getting away from Helen. I never saw Helen again. To this day, I didn't know whatever happened to her, nor do I know if she is still alive. Not even my wife or my grown-up kids know about her. I'm so thankful that there were no cell phones or social media around at the time because I would have been screwed for sure. Helen was a complete psycho, and I just hope that she's no longer here because she is the definition of the devil. That's a story I will take with me to the grave and to YouTube. Secret is safe with us, right guys? We don't know who you are, and yeah. Don't know what else I was gonna say there. Secret is safe with me and YouTube. Next story is coming in from Glitter Goddess. Ooh, that's my sparkles. You know Salt Bay when he was like over the meat? That's me with glitter. My life should be titled, Here, Hold My Drink. I like you already. A few years ago, I was talking to this guy that I had known for years. We had a hookup type situation, but we had previously dated. He was on the run from the cops for violating parole. We need to talk, girl. Yes, I do attract all the red flags. One day, he left our state of Kentucky to go to Ohio to see family. He made it an hour out of town until the blue lights lit up his car. Being the good Samaritan that he is, you would think he obviously stopped, right? No, because, he violated his parole. So I don't think that he would stop. You guessed it, he ran. High-speed pursuit that crossed from Kentucky all the way into Ohio and involved multiple police agencies. However, luck was only on his side for so long before he crashed his car into the back of a semi going over 100 miles per hour. He survived, somehow. They found him in a ditch, unable to move his legs. Oh. Okay, this story is a lot more graphic than I anticipated. That ended up putting him in a wheelchair, rolling around the good old jail for a while. Now, some people would think, man, I barely survived. I should take that as a sign to not be a D-bag anymore. Wrong. He isn't most people. He made a speedy recovery and served his time. Now, guess who went and picked him up when he got out of jail? You guessed it, me. I'm gonna give you my phone number after. We need to chat. We need to have a little call. When he got out of jail, we decided to try a relationship. I should have been slapped, but you know, you live and don't learn around here apparently. LOL. We made it Facebook official. One of his family members got sick, so his brother came and got home from Kentucky to take him back to Ohio. No high-speed chases this time. Once he got up there, he started to get sketchy fast. Got a motorcycle, and then all of a sudden, he was vanishing for long periods of time. Your girl may not be the brightest crayon in the box, but she's been around long enough to know what that means. His phone would be dead for days. I know. Odd, right? He should really be more careful. I might add that while he was up there, he was always begging for money like the classic scrub that he is. All of a sudden, this super short trip up there that he was supposed to take had been going on for a month, then longer. One day, he tells me that he doesn't know when he will be back because his bike is torn up and he can't drive it. He's walking everywhere. Sir limps a lot over here. I'm sending money to help fix the bike, being the lovely girlfriend that I am. I even bought him a new tire when that suddenly became an issue. However, I was rather suspicious by this point. One night, my suspicions came to fruition. A lady slid into my DMs to tell me that he was in a whole relationship with her sister. Of course, I said, proof or it didn't happen. To which I got screen recordings, screenshots, and talked to the sister. Once confronted, he stated that he didn't know her or her sister. I said, well, that's awfully funny since she sent me a picture of you in her bed with your distinct tattoos prevalent. The story magically changed to, okay, I know her, but it isn't like that. She's obsessed with me. I never talked to her and she faked that photo. She must have created a fake profile of me to make those messages look like they came from me. Yeah, buddy. The problem with that, though, is that the same profile in those messages is the one I'm friends with. Oh, and she's also your friend there. Try again. Then it became, you want to believe that bull? Then we don't need to be together. You should block both of them if you want to be with me. Classic gaslighting 101. Nope. I don't think so. The saga plays out and I pretty much say, you know what? I'm gonna sit back and see how this unfolds. I'll handle this later on. So I go distant from him. The next night, a new girl slides in the DMs. Hey, D-Bag Cannon over here is cheating on us. To which I replied, girl, I'm the one openly in a relationship with him on social media. What do you mean us? She was mad about girl number one. I said, okay, so do you all know that he is in a relationship and you just don't care? To which she replied, pretty much. I hit her with, wow, y'all are striving to put the hoe in Ohio. So now we have two women that we know of in some sort of situationship with my boyfriend. I confronted him again. Wouldn't you know it? This one made a fake profile too. He's just a popular guy to duplicate. I mean, I would have gone with someone that could at least afford groceries if I was gonna pretend to be them, but we don't all have standards. The sarcasm and sass in this story. It's so fun for me to read. I decided that I was going to catch him in the act or bring him back to the state to get his belongings that were all over my house one way or the other. I was done. I started the drive up to Ohio only for him to call and say, I know you're coming to Ohio to confront me, and if you show up, I'll just hide until you leave. Really mature, pal. Also, girl number two messaged me and said, hey, I'm with him right now. He's pretty upset that you don't trust him and you are going to try to catch him up in something. Gee, I wonder why I don't trust him. Oh, hi. Ho, number two, was really trying to work on the psychiatrist side of the drama. So I turn around, as in like turn the car around, and throw up my hands with the whole situation. I told him he has a week to get someone to come get his belongings or I will throw them away. Needless to say, he was never the same to get them. He did have someone tell me that Ohio number one was going to show up at my house to fight me. The following week, he accused me of stealing money off of his cash card to use Uber Eats. Keep in mind, the only income he had for 2+ months at this point was what he had got from me. And also, my small town doesn't have Uber Eats or DoorDash. Also, I live 1 minute from all our restaurants and stores, plus have 2 cars. Good try, buddy. You know, I didn't get upset when he cheated. I was just done. However, accusing me of stealing? Nope. So I did the rational thing. I bought 8 large bottles of glitter, different shades and textures. I glitter bombed every bit of his belongings. Pocket of jeans, glitter. Shoes, lifted up the soles and put glitter. There was so much glitter that even double bagged with 2 thick black trash bags, glitter was still coming out. I threw it into his best friend's yard with a note that said, "Betches love glitter and you are obviously a betch." Ruined everything he owned. He hates glitter. Also, his bike was never torn up. Shocker. So I wish I had used some more glitter now that I know that. I've never spoken to him again. I hope every time he sees glitter that he thinks of me. I have a feeling he might. What a story. truly should be a movie, and boy, I want to play that role. Not him, you. I want to be you in this movie. You are sassy. Before the next story, let's hop on hydration station. Drink your water, okay? Cheers. Lip gloss is still secured. Next story also wants to be anonymous. I accidentally slept with my girlfriend's cousin one drunken night, and now she's pregnant. Now, the accidentally is confusing me. It's fine. You didn't accidentally sleep with someone, but maybe you didn't know that someone was the cousin. Due to this craziness in the story, fake names will be used for obvious reasons. I'll provide as many details as I can to help you understand how I got into the situation. It's been a crazy ride for me, but I feel like I've matured enough to take accountability for what happened. Fair? This involves me, 28 male, my ex-girlfriend Elena, 24 female, and her cousin Layla, 29 female. Elena and I met last year at a speed dating event, and we had been dating for approximately 11 months when this took place. I'll provide some background on how this built up to the biggest mistake of my life. We talked on the phone for weeks and would spend more time in person getting to know each other, and we only lived about 30 minutes away. We then officially started going out, and it seemed like we were made for each other. We never argued, we never had any toxic moments. It really felt like this was going to be the one that lasted. But then I got to meet Elena's family, which included Layla. That's when my world flipped upside down. The first thing you need to know about Elena and Layla was that they were very close with each other. Yeah, so this accidental thing is not really making sense then, but I'm gonna hear you out. They were attached at the hip, and they always went everywhere together. Obviously, I spent a lot of time with Layla. The thing about her was that we were complete opposites. Elena and I had a lot in common, but me and Layla didn't, and yet somehow that led to me to start developing feelings for her. They do say opposites attract. I would always try my best to hide my feelings around Layla. She didn't help the cause by flirting with me and having sexy tattoos on her body. Those are what really turned me on. Okay. Like I said, we're really close on this channel. Whenever we had a pool party, Layla always showed up wearing a very revealing bikini and would give me that look that you would know when someone wants you. Don't get me confused. I enjoyed Layla because she was very funny and always loved to be the life of the party. But that's when my feelings only grew stronger and stronger. This went on for a few months until I told Elena that I think Layla had developed feelings for me. She just laughed it off, saying that's what she does with all guys. Quote, it's her way of showing that she likes you. Keep in mind, I was hiding my feelings for Layla and was hoping discussing this with Elena would help, but it didn't. I felt trapped because I thought if I revealed my feelings for Layla, Elena would be heartbroken and disgusted, and then view me as a cheater and a creep. Yeah. I decided to keep it to myself no matter how hard it got. I really wish I did the opposite. Here's where it all began to go downhill. It was my 28th birthday, which was on a Thursday, and due to both me and Elena's jobs, we decided to wait until Saturday to go out and celebrate. We invited the whole family, Elena's parents who owned a ranch, for a cookout. Obviously, Layla was amongst those who were there. There were drinks, pizza, music, everything you could think of at this type of party. We partied all day until late at night. For context, both me and Elena were too drunk to drive, so Layla gave us a ride back to our place where she was staying for the night. I don't remember it vividly because I was drunk, but during the night, I woke up and I snuck off into Layla's bedroom. The next thing I knew, I woke up in bed with Layla. We were both naked. Obviously, I had a bad hangover and I was confused and horrified at the same time. My worst fears came true when Layla rolled over and smiled at me and said, "Last night was amazing. You're so much better than any of the guys I've been with." Was it a nightmare for you? Were you actually horrified? Because you've also been like wanting this though. So I have feelings that you're not gonna like. Those words sent me into a full panic. I realized that I had indeed made a grave mistake, even though I wasn't in control of my actions. I slept with my girlfriend's cousin. I'm sorry, but I absolutely hate when people blame alcohol. You drank that much. You're the adult. You drank that much. You had her sleep at your place. You put yourself in that position. We're not gonna blame alcohol. You were in control of your actions. I slept with my girlfriend's cousin. Words can't describe the utter disgust I still feel when I think about it. It was about 9 o'clock in the morning. I hurried, walked out to go back to our room when I discovered the door was open and Elena wasn't in there. I had a very sickening feeling that she was aware. After getting dressed, I walked downstairs and saw Elena sitting at the coffee table and giving me the cold shoulder. I tried to play it off as if it was another day, but that was a big mistake on my part. Do you want to explain to me what happened last night? At that moment, I knew I was dead. I had no choice but to admit to sleeping with Layla. I told Elena everything about how I had developed feelings for Layla and how I did my best to hide them, but my drunken mind made me act on it. I felt like the worst man ever because I did this to someone who I loved. I never felt more disgusted and ashamed with myself. There's no excuse for what I did. Elena and I broke up and we didn't speak to each other for months. As for Layla, I stayed away from her too. I figured this was over, but that all changed when I got a phone call from Layla saying we needed to talk. This was back in January. She informed me that she was pregnant with my child. I forgot the beginning of the story said she was pregnant. I totally forgot. All right. At first, I didn't believe her and demanded to see for myself. A short while later, I drove to Layla's apartment and she showed me 3 positive pregnancy tests confirming that she was telling the truth. My mind is racing and I almost fainted when I saw them. It turns out the night we slept together, we didn't use protection and it wound up in a pregnancy. All I could think of was how I was going to tell Elena. Also, we live in a state where abortion is illegal, so there was no coming back from this. After some discussion, both me and Layla decided that we were going to raise this baby. This was our mistake and we needed to own up to it. Long story short, we told Elena and she was not happy. Yeah. To this day, she isn't talking to either of us and wants nothing to do with the baby. Can't say that I blame her. At the time of me writing this, Layla and I are now in a committed relationship and she is now 9 months pregnant with our baby girl due on the 18th. This definitely is not how I envisioned becoming a father, but I'm committed to raising this baby the best that I can. Both me and Layla have the income and the environment to raise her happily and healthily. We live in our own apartment together and I'm excited, but also very scared because there will come a time where I'll have to sit with her and explain some things to her. But in the end, I'm a grown man where I have to take accountability for my actions, and it's my responsibility to be a loving and caring father for my daughter. There's going to be a lot of family drama in the future, and there is no one to blame but myself for this. Wish me luck. I have mad respect for you showing up as a father for this child. I really do. A lot of you have opened my mind to maybe showing some more understanding towards cheaters. I've been on the other end. However, people make mistakes and I'm trying to be understanding of that. So I will say that I respect you taking accountability and stepping up as a father. And good luck. Next one wants to be anonymous. Hey Joss, not really a story, but I hope you still read this. 2024 and 2025 haven't been great years for me. In 2024, I experienced 2 early losses. And in 2025, oh my God, no. We lost our baby boy as a stillborn. Y'all are trying to make me cry. It's been rough to navigate, but God, family, and friends have been with me through it all. I always look forward to your videos because they're a great distraction and help me to laugh a little and be grateful for the people I have in my life. I'm gonna cry. Here come the waterworks. If you do read this in one of your videos, I just want you to know you're usually playing on my phone as I go about my day. It helps me feel less alone on the hard days, and I love your videos. Yeah, I'm gonna cry. Okie dokie. Don't cry. I have an event to go to after this. We don't want the makeup ruined. I want to hug you. I want to hug you and hold you so tight. I love you and I'm so sorry for your loss. What a sweet, sweet little thing at the end of this whole video. That made my whole day. Sending my love, sending you all love and hugs. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.